the idea was we're just enjoying these clean hobbies. We could be out, you know, clubbing. We could be out drinking all night, away from the family. And this is something you can enjoy at home.
I said, baby, I'm either gonna buy a near mint shipwreck or some hookers and blow. So you
right. You decide what's better.
You decide. So you're watching 757 Hustle Show. My name is George. We're hanging out with the Mexican Griswolds. My man Joe, G.I. Joe fan. So what's this with you taking pictures, man? Is this like a hobby? Is this
Yeah, so for me, I got back into adult collecting like around 2016, 2017. And it was mostly collecting the original figures that I lost as a child, because as a teenager, at the age of around 13 or 14, I was no longer into toys. My dad had passed. My mom just saw all this clutter of toys in the closet and on the floor. She's like, get rid of that. So I ended up selling them all to my younger cousin at the age of like 8 years old. Just threw them all in a big old trash bag. Yeah, I know, it was stupid. So think about this: He-Man, G.I. Joe, Transformers, Mask, everything I had. I know, everything I had into a trash bag. Sold them all to a cousin of mine for $100. Everything for $100. Now, granted, I was 13. To me back then, $100 was $100. That's still, in the early. It was like late 90s or late 80s, early 90s.
That's 90s,
so,
$100. That's
yeah,
a lot.
yeah. So I was like, it was for a kid who didn't have a job. That was something. But then I felt stupid. I didn't realize those were memories my dad had made with me, and just got, I was stupid. So as an adult, I started feeling that, I need to go back to my roots and remember those connections that I had, those great memories. So I ended up recollecting some of those things from Transformers, G.I. Joe, He-Man. And yeah, so I started off with just a pure collection of my original Joes. Well, then I discovered this thing called kitbashing, which you'll see in all my pictures there. I kitbash a lot of figures.
Explain to people what kitbashing is. I know.
Okay, so kitbashing, the term kitbash was coined by, believe it or not, Star Wars. Boba Fett was a kitbash figure. The prototype was a kitbash figure, and that's what they called it, kitbash prototype figure. And I was like, what the hell is a kitbash? Well, they literally got parts of different figures to make a new figure. So I had found online some great people, including some other guys that I know, Yo to the Joe, Kitbash Joe, a couple other guys that I would find online, like, what is this figure? Who sells that? And they're like, oh, it's a Kitbash. I'm like, well, what is that? And they told me the same thing. And apparently they just put parts together, different figures. Now, some people like to customize them and paint them. I don't do a lot of painting. I'm not a paint guy. I'll do a little bit of paint, like on the accessories, or maybe just like a kneecap or something like that. But some guys go all out and they paint the whole figure from scratch. So me, I'm all about custom putting parts together that match. So you'll see a bunch of figures from different lines, including Hasbro or Galoob or Leonard, the core figures that I put them together. And then, they match, and the colors match, and they look cool. So I end up doing that to make a whole new figure. Some of them are very comic book accurate, because, as you know, the G.I. Joe cartoon was not very comic book accurate. Correct. They would just, the colors even. Yeah, so I would kitbash, as you see, a lot of my figures on there kitbash, from Tiger Force to new figures. Some of them have been made for me, and they've been donated to me and sent to me by some other collectors that are painters. Like that Snake Eyes right there. I put that guy together using different arms, like 4 different parts using that one right there. So you'll see different parts, right? That even the timber is from a 2000s line Snake Eyes. So it's like a modern Snake Eyes timber. Cool. Yeah. So it looks like a Winter Ops Snake Eyes, right? So it's still really cool with the black and gray, which we all know Snake Eyes to be kind of like dark colors. But yeah, man. So I got super into kit bashing. So they call me Basher on Instagram. That's my alias. But I then started some hashtags during the COVID years. I created hashtags. So you'll see a lot of cups and figures with next to a coffee cup. So I created a hashtag called Cup of Joe with the Joe. So if you're into coffee and you're also into figures of G.I. Joes, and you can put a little screenshot or a snippet of your picture of your G.I. Joe with Cup of Joe, right? And use that hashtag. Now this right there, what you're seeing right there, my son, he has a 3D printer, and I started 3D printing little, 1/18 scale items like weight benches, martial art dojos. Yeah. So I started, printing them out, and other Joe bros were like, bro, hook me up with one, sell me one, or trade me one. I'm like, yeah. So I always trade 3D printed stuff, or if they want to pay for it and they don't have anything to trade, that's fine too. I don't really make anything out of it, because, the parts, the filament and all that, I end up painting some of those, like spray painting some of the parts to make it match better.
Try to paint and mail it.
Yeah, exactly. So I tend to not make a whole lot of money off of it. It's not about the money. If it's just for fun, it's a hobby. You know, it's a clean hobby. I enjoy it, and other Joe Bros get to display their figures as a diorama. With I have a whole diorama of a command center for Cobra. I have a whole diorama. If you keep going, you'll find the diorama for the Dreadnoks. You know, you'll see a whole Dreadnoks diorama in their gym. It's really cool.
Hold on one second. Like you said, so am I seeing Blaster, Transformers right there?
Where? I'm sorry, I can't see it. Let me see.
Blaster as a radio boombox next to Gun Ho.
Oh yes. Yes, exactly. That's Blaster. So that is actually from a modern convention exclusive GI Joe set crossover. You can actually clip them to their backpack of the modern figures, or to the back. They also made a Soundwave, so there's a Soundwave in there too. So yeah, I'll it's like a little Easter egg. I'll throw it in there like an Easter egg, right?
Oh, this is badass.
Yeah, so look at that. Of course, that's Batman Tumbler in the camo version, and I made a Kitbash of this Dusty figure, and I just thought it looked cool.
That is awesome. Very good, man. Very nice. I love it. I like it because it's like spoilers if you want to see what Snake Eyes looks like without the mask.
Yeah, so that head, that was custom made for me by a fellow Joe Bro named Foot, Nick Nanoski, Foot 1212 on Instagram. He made that for me. I told him, we sent him the screenshot. There's on the comics. If you've seen the comics, there's a face of Snake Eyes unmasked, and his eyes all jacked up. His face is jacked up. His mouth, which is why he can't talk or whatever. And I told him, dude, can you kind of make it using this head? He's like, yeah. So he made that head.
That's awesome. That's all. You see, I love it. And community, man. Hey, people we get happy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I'm not making money off it, but I'll be happy that this guy wants, this thing,
Yeah. Look at the soda machine. Look at that right there, that computer station area. That's pretty sweet. All 3D printed, the soda machine. So yeah, I've made a lot of these cool little things for Joe Bros to, be a part of the community, part of the fellowship. I like to meet up with some of the actual Joe Bros in person at the conventions as well. It's all about fun, man. It keeps me young.
It does. It keeps you young, and it's not like my wife's like, "Oh, you're playing with GI Joes." Like, no, just reminisce with people.
Reminiscing, it's enjoyable. It's a clean hobby. It could be worse. So the people that their wives or spouses are not supportive of their hobby, something like this, it sucks, right? Because they don't get it sometimes, and we do, but it's just a matter of having a clean hobby. And in this case, it takes you back to your youth, which was an innocent time, back when things wasn't so corrupt like things are now. Or if they were, we didn't know about it, right? It was just very clean for us. And the idea was we're just enjoying these clean hobbies. We could be out, clubbing, we could be out drinking all night, away from the family. And this is something you can enjoy at home.
I said, baby, I'm either gonna buy a near mint shipwreck or some hookers and blow. So you
right. You decide what's better.
You decide. That's awesome. You're watching 757 Hustle Show. My name is George. We're hanging out with the Mexican Griswolds. My man Joe, GI Joe fan. So we found out my man is a Joe fan, and also we find out my man is a drummer too, man. Well, first of all, let me put this up real quick before we show you showing off on the drums right there. So explain again what a Kitbash is real quick while I put this up.
Yeah, a Kitbash is essentially putting together a figure from different parts of other figures. So it could be different lines like Galoob, Hasbro, like Leonard the Core, just parts that kind of were made within a 3 3/4 inch scale that all can kind of fit together, whether it's just the head or the arms or the legs or whatever, torso. And then even things like figures from Black Major, which I use a lot. Like Black Major are essentially repros of the G.I. Joe original body mold, but in different colors. So those are great for kit bashings. You can get the legs and parts of different figures and make this version. So in this case, this kit bash that I made is a kit bash of myself. I used the accessories, like the cap is from a company called Marauders Gun Runner. You go to that website, you will be hooked. They have stuff for classified figures and for 3 3/4 figure line. So from the scarf to the cap to knee pads to vest to anything you want. And then I have this little drum set because I also work part-time at Guitar Center teaching drum lessons in the evenings. That's my part-time job in the evenings.
No stairway to heaven.
Yeah, yeah. So that little drum set on the right is from an actual ornament that they sold at Guitar Center. The band that I'm in is called Back to Vinyls. We're a cover band for the 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s. We play stuff from, from Fleetwood Mac all the way to Nirvana and Foo Fighters and stuff like that. Fun stuff.
How long you been playing?
I've been drumming since I was about 10 years old.
10 years old? Nice.
Yeah. I was in drumline all the way through grade school, high school. I played the snare all the way to the quads. I started playing in bands at church and then outside of church and cover bands in the Valley, Rio Grande Valley. And then,